Should I learn UIKit? What should you be focusing on when you're working on iPhone apps? Do you need to understand UIKit? That's what we're going to be talking about in this video. Hey, my name is Paul Solt from Super Easy Apps. I'm an iOS app developer. I've worked for GoPro, Apple, Microsoft, and I want to talk about this question. Should I learn UIKit? I think it's important, and we're going to dive in with 3 different topics. And then at the end, I'm going to have one thing that I think that you need to do no matter which framework you decide that you want to be learning. Let's get started. So the first question is, why iOS? Why do you want to make an iPhone app? This is going to be an important question because this is going to drive the direction that you take, and it's going to change how you approach this topic. So if your whole reason is you want to do like an indie app idea, let's say your parents or a friend of yours has an idea and they're like, can you make this app? And you're like, yeah, I could do that. Okay, now I have to pick what framework I want to learn, and that's going to guide you a little bit different. So if this is the case, if you're trying to make an app for yourself or for someone else in your immediate family or friends, then I would start with SwiftUI because it's going to be easier to get started for most of the things that you're going to want to do. Now, if you want to get a job, this is where it's a little bit different because jobs are going to require that you know both. And so you're going to need to learn both UIKit and SwiftUI. And so in this situation, you need to learn both. And the question is, what's the order of which you learn these two things? And I would still, in 2024 or 2025, I would still start with SwiftUI over UIKit. And that's because it's so much faster to prototype. It's so much faster to iterate, change directions. And the tooling has gotten a lot better. It's a lot faster. It's still a little bit nuanced. It's a little bit different than working with UIKit. I miss aspects of working with UIKit. I didn't feel like I had to fight the compiler as much with UIKit. With SwiftUI, like you can write things wrong and you'll be tearing your hair out trying to understand why it's wrong. So that's the downside of SwiftUI. Now, the most important thing that you need to be doing is you have to learn by doing. You can't just follow tutorials after tutorials. It has to be, you have to find something that you want to work on. The reason I learned iOS to begin with was I had a app project that I wanted to work on. I was working on a Mac app that was generating artwork. It was a genetic algorithm that could create artwork using math equations. And I wanted to put that on iOS. And then it was the whole trial by fire, learning how to get the UI that I wanted. I wanted to have the ability to select these different images so that you could evolve them over time and create brand new images and just sort of cycle through them. And so that taught me a lot about user interface development. I then demoed that project to other people. I demoed that project at art festivals. I demoed that project at a festival at RIT called Imagine RIT. And that allowed me to watch people interact with the app and learn by seeing what they did, by seeing how they behaved, and then making changes based on that. So it's so important that if you want to learn UIKit, you have to just go out there and learn it. And I think it's a great framework. It's very robust. It's got tons of features that SwiftUI doesn't have. And so like that's the benefit of UIKit is that you've got so much polish that's available that you don't always have on SwiftUI. Okay, so learn by doing no matter which direction you take. And it's just a matter of which one you're going to focus on first. In 2024 with xcode 16 and later, I would start with SwiftUI over UIKit. But you're still going to need to reach back. There are certain things like a slider in SwiftUI does not have the ability to customize the thumbnail or the track height. Now, if you're just using default controls, that's fine. But if you work with a designer, designers like to make things look pretty, and they tend to customize sliders. And so that means that you need to be able to stylize it. And the only way you can do that is using UI's UI slider, which provides all of these features that the SwiftUI slider does not. The other option is to build it yourself. The downside of that is you lose out on accessibility features that Apple built into the slider or the UI slider classes that you can leverage. So, learning by doing, you're going to learn all these different things, and you should be taking notes as you learn because that's going to help you remember what you do. That's going to help you remember these different things. There's so much to learn with iOS. All right. So the third thing that's really important for learning any of these languages is you have to ship an app. There are so many pieces and things that go into app development that you just learn a lot more by going through the process from start to finish of taking that app all the way to the App Store. You're going to learn design. You're going to learn UI. You're going to learn dealing with customers. You're going to learn with not getting downloads. But that's okay because it's all a learning process. Sometimes you might get App Store feedback, whether you have your email in your app or you have App Store reviews. You're going to learn something from someone else using your application. And they're going to give you an idea, maybe for a better app, maybe for a different feature. And that's all great because that's going to inspire you to go back and repeat the cycle and learn something new, learn something more. And you're going to become more proficient in either UIKit or SwiftUI. All right. There is one thing I talked about at the beginning of this video that's really important. You have to market yourself. If you're not going through this process and documenting things, if you're not taking notes, if you're not talking about what you're working on, you're losing out on a huge opportunity in 2024 and 2025. This is so important to start now, to start early, because this builds over time. If you want to gain visibility on Google search or on any of these search engines, you have to put out some kind of content. It can be simple blog posts. It can be YouTube videos. Don't worry about people finding it right now because you have to find your voice. You have to find your writing style. You have to find what works for you. But if you can solve problems and talk about it, you can build an audience of people who are interested, and you can build yourself up as someone who is employable if you are searching for a job. If you're trying to do an indie app and you want people to find your app, you've got to talk about it. You've got to market yourself. This is so important. You've got to market yourself and you've got to market your app. And there's a couple different ways that you can do this. The easiest thing that doesn't cost any money is to use GitHub.io and set up a Jekyll static web page. You can do a blog and you can do static pages just for the different apps where you can put icons and images and just give people an overview of what that app does and is. So I think that's so important. Another option, if you want it to look cleaner, I use both of these services. The other option is ghost.org. You're going to be paying maybe $29 a month. So this is a bigger investment, but it's going to give you a clean design. It's going to give you something that looks nice out of the gate. You don't have to customize it, and it just works. The last thing, share on social. And I think this is a critical piece to growing an audience, to getting your name out there. You have to post on x.com. You have to post on things like LinkedIn. These are places where you can build an audience. These are places where you can connect with other like-minded people. These are places where you can connect with your customers. Now, it doesn't matter what political views you think the leaders of these different social networks have. You need to leverage these networks to reach other people. That is your only goal. It doesn't matter what other content's on there because people are searching these social networks for information. And if you can provide information that's valuable, that's timely, and that helps someone else, you are doing a good service for other people. You are becoming useful. And that's your most important thing in sharing content. You want to be useful to other people because people will follow people who are useful. All right. So I hope this answers the question, getting back to should you learn UIKit? And I think the answer is yes. It's just a matter of how important is it to your end goals. If you're an indie developer, you don't need it right away unless you're trying to fill gaps that SwiftUI has. If you're trying to get a job, most jobs are going to be a mix of UIKit and SwiftUI. You're going to have a lot of UIKit that's legacy code that's not going to get written in SwiftUI just because it works. If something works, we don't just rewrite it from scratch. It's only when we're revising something because designers give us new designs that we generally have the opportunity to start over on something. Beyond that, we're usually bug fixing, we're enhancing the features of something that already exists in UIKit, whether that's programmatic UI, whether that is storyboard UI. All right, thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments down below if you have more questions about iOS, UIKit, or SwiftUI, and I hope you have a great day. Hit the like button, and I will see you in the next video.